has this yard changed your life? She went on and on about how much time she spends in that yard, how she's met her neighbors through this yard. She knows every plant in that yard. She's drug her husband to butterfly classes and all these crazy classes they go to now. They are yard people. That yard took somebody from who admittedly was not a yard person to now they are yard people. They're connected to that yard. They've reconnected to each other. They're connecting to their neighbors, which ultimately is going to connect them to Florida. And I said, you know what? This is a TV show. And so that's how we started Flip My Florida Yard. It was a spinoff. And that is our goal. My goal is to connect people to Florida through their yard. My goal with How to Do Florida was always to connect people to Florida by getting outdoors, by going camping and going fishing. 70% of people who live in this state are not from this state. So they come here and they've got their own way of cooking things, and their own way of doing things, and their own sport teams, and their own thing. And it takes somebody a while to really acclimate to Florida, and more importantly, to care about the issues that impact Florida. So many of us are in Florida they don't care about the Everglades because nobody goes to the Everglades. You know, the Everglades are hard to really interact with. You know, so my goal is not to save the Everglades. My goal is to get people to connect with Florida through their yard. So we take a very fun, almost kind of ridiculous approach to the show. You know, we don't beat people over. We don't use, you know, so many of these conservation movements are built on making people feel bad, that you're human, you know, and we have had an impact on this, on our state. But I want to draw people in on a very practical argument that this will save you money and you'll spend less time in your yard. And oh, by the way, this is good for Florida. I want to pull people in on a very practical argument that this just makes sense. You know, forget that this is good for Florida. Forget that this is going to save water. This is going to save you money. And this is going to save you time. And those are two very important things for people. And that will bring people into this argument and this conversation and get people excited about this movement, connect them to their yard, connecting them to each other, which ultimately connects them to Florida. You know, for me, I don't have a smartphone. I have a flip phone. Who in here has a flip phone? Raise your hand. Who's brave enough to say, there's a couple people in here, bless your heart. Here's the deal. I don't have a smartphone, not because I don't want to pay the bill, because that phone, I found for me, stole too much of my time. Okay? And that is all we have left on this earth is time. Who we spend it with, what we do with that time, what we spend it on. And I want people spending more time in their yard. Period. Because that's good for us, it's good for Florida, it's good for the environment. So, Flip My Florida Yard started with 5 episodes. We started out small. We launched 2 weeks ago, and we're getting a lot of feedback. People want this information. It was very important for me to put Florida in the title. This is not just Flip Your Yard. This is Flip My Florida Yard. We did submissions for the show to have your yard flipped. We had over 1,000 people submit. We had to pick 5. Okay? It was crazy. So many people who submitted said, help me, I just moved here. I have no clue what I'm doing in my yard. You know, so many people come from up north where they only have to worry about their yard, you know, 5 or 6 months out of the year. But here in Florida, you got to worry about it 12 months out of the year, and it's a completely different growing phase. The soil is different. Everything is different. And there's not a lot of great information out there. So people want this information. So we're trying to give it to them in a fun format. And we're having a lot of great response from it. So the goal is we're going to do another season. We're going to start shooting this October, and it'll be 10 episodes. And most of these are airing on ABC affiliates throughout the state. You can go to flipmyfloridayard.com and you can get the schedule there and learn more about the show there. But I love seeing this. I want to see this show a whole lot bigger. The goal for me is always to increase demand so that you guys can can keep up with that demand. That drives supply. So I want more demand. I want more people asking about Florida native products. You know, so that drives everything. So thank you so much for having me here. I'm actually off to another shoot that I got to leave here in a little bit, but I'm so thankful that I got a chance just to say a few things here. And I love seeing everybody here. It's like a kind of family reunion. I know a lot of people in this room. So again, thank you.
Everybody, we'd like to get a good group photo. Could everybody here in the crowd just come out and stand up here with Chad?
All right, there you have it. Chad Crawford from Flip My Florida Yard.